Chaos Crew, it is time. Let's go ahead and knock out the character tier list for season 14. So, I want to go ahead and start by saying, before I hop into this tier list, this is my opinion. So, if you feel different or you have different rankings, feel free to tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear y'all thoughts down below. Also, before I get started, I want to go ahead and say, you guys been killing it with the subscriber count. I think we're literally like one away as I'm recording this. Hey, we could do it. We could do it. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I need to say, freaking Happy New Year's Eve, guys. I can't believe I freaking forgot to say that. My bad. My bad. Yeah, thank you, Melly. I would say my bad. My bad. Anyways, let's go and get into this tier list because last time this took literally 2 different videos, and I don't want it to take that long again. Starting off with Assault Deku, I have him in A tier. I feel like this character is still to this day a solid all-around character to have, and everyone should have this guy when you start the game. So I think that he doesn't have a high skill ceiling, but like he's not just easy free to play either. You know what I mean? He's free to play, but he's not easy to play either. And I think that if you know how to play him, he can still contend with some of the best. So I still put him in A tier because he's still a solid all-around pick. Moving on to his strike counterpart, though, I did have to go ahead and knock this character down a tier. Last tier was Adamant in S tier, I believe, and I just couldn't keep him there with the way the meta changed. Not a bad character, but I don't want to say he got power crept. It's just that there are so many other characters doing so many other things than just pure damage, and that's all he really offers, just pure damage. His mobility's not the best, and all he does is, he punch hard. That's all it is. He punches really hard. So I move him down a tier. Rapid Deku. Need I even explain? This guy's an S tier. Even though we got Tech Shigaraki, Tech All Might, and Nagant and everything in the game, this character is still S tier. Where do I even begin? The freaking hard knockdown alphas, the very fast beta, which also changes if you get your gear 5 activated, the auto tracking gamma, his armor melees. This character's still S tier. Okay, he's staying in S tier. Moving on to Bakugo, I have a Stripe Bakugo in A tier. I put him in A tier because I would say he's similar to Deku. He's a character who can still run with I say it definitely depends on your skill, but he still run with the stronger characters. I would say he still feels like a strong character, but I couldn't put him anywhere in S tier. Unlike his Rapid counterpart, who just, in my opinion, is just a better version of him. In my opinion, Rapid Bakugo is Stripe Bakugo, but with way better movement, and I guess in this case less health. But does that really matter in this case? He's really just Stripe Bakugo with better movement. Alpha has better damage potential. Beta leads into combos, 2 gammas, insane movement. I think Rapid Bakugo is just overall better. Let's get on over to Ochaco, your Gravity herself. I put her in A tier because, in my opinion, this character definitely fell off after her combo nerf a while back, which is fair, but I still think she is a decently strong character. She feels, surprising enough to say, somewhat balanced now. Can you guys believe it? As for her Assault counterpart, I went ahead and put her in A tier as well because I feel like she fell off as well, but it wasn't no super hard fall off or anything at all. She also feels, I won't say she necessarily feels balanced, but she doesn't feel broken. You feel me? Hopping on over to Iida. I feel like I had to put Iida in B tier, and that may come as a surprise to some people, maybe, but just that the game has changed so much to where unless you're one of those few super good Iida players, I feel like it's gonna be kind of difficult for Iida to go ahead and really keep up with the meta. I still think he could do good depending on the situation, but a lot of the A tier and S tier characters, in my opinion, can stomp him out, can stop him. Moving on over to Strike Todoroki. Strike Todoroki is A tier. I was determining whether or not I wanted to go ahead and put this guy in S tier or not. I couldn't do it because, the only reason why I consider putting him in S tier is because his beta hitbox is ridiculous. It has N-lag on it and everything. But if you count that out, this guy just has really high burst damage, and that's really about it. His special action still sucks to this day. Both him and his tech counterpart, the special action still sucks to this day. So with that in mind, it's like when I think of an S tier character, they're good. Their kit is good all around, not just certain aspects. So with that in mind, without denying this character's strength, I still have him in A tier. Moving on to his tech counterpart, I put this guy in B tier. I rarely see this guy anymore, and to be honest with you, I feel like he's just he feels mid. I can't say anything more than that. He feels mid. His alpha's okay. His beta, solid damage. His gamma's great for blocking. Great for taking down opponents. Special action still sucks. Same with his strike counterpart. And then his beta, alpha explosion. it's still decently strong, but I feel like a lot of players at this point realize that they could play Strike Todoroki and get more benefit out of him in terms of, downing people and with his insanely high burst damage. This guy's just in a weird spot. I feel like he's mid. I feel like he's really mid right now. Moving on to Froppy. I have Froppy in A tier. So the reason why I have her in A tier is because I still think that she is a solid all-around character, especially with the movement change from a while back. This character, I see her very often. She feels very, I won't say she feels very strong, but she feels like a strong pick as long as you know what you're doing. Jump, alpha, beta, you'll be fine. Moving on to Kirishima, I believe, is next. I'm trying to sit up here and make sure. Yep, Kirishima. I have Kirishima in B tier as well. And the reason why I have him in B tier is that movement is his problem. Assault Kirishima. Movement is his problem. But this character still hits decently hard. And in my opinion, if you're in close combat with this character, he can dominate. He can definitely... I feel like he can still keep up as long as he can close the distance on his opponent. If he can't do that, then he will struggle. He will have problems. But his special action, his 400 HP and everything, it still helps him stay at least somewhat relevant in the meta to where he feels like similar to Iida, situational. I feel like that I should probably say that. A lot of characters in B tier, I would say they can still run the meta, but it's situational for them. That's a better way for me to phrase how I thought about B tier. Moving on to Strike Kirishima. This guy's still S tier. Like, this guy is still freaking ridiculous. I was really thinking about it. I was like, is he still S tier? Yes, he is. Insane combos, let me think, insane movement. This guy is still remain untouched to this day from his release. Devs, can we maybe change something about that? Give him the Strike Kendo nerf, take away his movement. Like, what are we doing? Anyways, moving on to Yaoyorozu. I have her in B tier. She's another character I feel like she can definitely still run in the meta, but it's situational for her. You have to play to her advantages, but she still feels like a decently strong character to play in this meta. But I couldn't put her anywhere in like A tier or S tier with how strong those characters are in their respective tiers. So B tier is where I put her. Strike Denki, I went ahead and decided that he's an A tier. He feels like a sleeper pick to me. I don't see him as often, and maybe that's because we just don't find him as fun to play anymore. But this guy feels like a sleeper pick. His burst damage, similar to, funny enough, to Strike Todoroki, is still just insane. It really is. Like, if you get one gamma off, it's almost GG's for anybody fighting you. Guaranteed it's GG's for a rapid. A rapid's out. They're gone. It's just straight up game over. Moving on over to his tech counterpart, I still have him in A tier as well. I feel like he can still do his job just fine, being able to snipe people and everything with his alpha. His stuns are still really, really strong, and he can still get a lot of distance with his gamma. I could see Nagant countering this guy, but besides that, this character, I don't really feel like he's in a different spot compared to my last tier list. Moving on to our next character, which is Monoma. I put Monoma in A tier, and the reason why, I feel like, funny enough, the character has fallen off a little bit, at least from his S tier power. Because looking back at all the nerfs that he went ahead and got in the past, which was to his HP, his damage on his stolen quirk skills, and they nerfed his special action time, I believe. With all that, I definitely feel this character, being knocked down from S tier, but he still feels like a relatively strong character. I can't deny that. This character still feels very strong. His game is still annoying. I'll be honest with you. All of Monoma's moves are still annoying. This character is fine. He doesn't. I don't think he's fallen off, but he's no longer an S tier character in my opinion. Moving on over to Kendo, I have Assault Kendo in B tier, and the reason why I have her in B tier, I think it's pretty obvious. She's a similar character, I would say, where it's situational on whether this character will be good or bad. I will put her in like a similar situation as Assault Kirishima, where she has to be in close combat to dominate, but when she is in that position, boy, does she dominate. As for her strike counterpart, this may come off as surprising to some people. I have her in A tier. The reason why I have her in A tier is because of the simple fact that, personally, when I think of Strike Kendo, I compare her automatically to Strike Kirishima, and Strike Kirishima still remains unnerfed. She is not. She still has very strong combos. Her beta, I witnessed the first hand playing Rapid Deku recently, still insanely strong. This character is still a very strong pick, and if you were to make the argument for her to be in S tier, I think that'd be fair. But looking at it, I think that I would have to say that she probably got knocked down a tier with, her movement nerf and everything. But she still feels very strong if you know her combos. Very strong character. Moving on to Ibara. I put her in B tier. The reason why I put her in B tier is literally same thing I've been saying. It's situational how well this character will perform. And not to mention, with the inclusion of Nagant, this character is a sitting duck for that character, so that's probably why you don't see her in rank at all, despite how strong she is. All her moves are still super strong, but, that's to make up for her lack of movement. That's also why she has 400 HP. But again, lack of movement, everything. So I still put this character in B tier, despite her not being played as much, just due to just an absurdly broken sniper character. Moving over to Rapid Mirio. I have Rapid Mirio in B tier. As time gone on, I really had this guy in A tier, I believe. And as time has gone on, I changed my mind on that because this character can still put in work. We'll never deny that. But he is so easy to play around, especially if you compare him to his tech counterpart. He is so easy to play around. He got his gamma up, walk through his bubble. He's doing beta, wait for him to do his uppercut. He's doing alpha, just get him on charge up, and if he does a short burst, you can probably hit him at the end of the short burst alpha. It's just, this guy has a lot of openings, and for him to have the lowest HP in the game, that is not good. That is not good at all, especially when you have a one-shot sniper character in the game now. And even not counting her, there's so many other characters who can capitalize off his openings, and with him having the lowest HP, it's very easy to down this character. Hopefully we can see like an HP buff or something. That'd be nice, but hey, maybe I'm asking too much. Hopping over to Tech Mirio. This one will probably come off as controversial. That is totally fair. And if you disagree with it, also totally fair. Like I said, this is totally fair. This character's A tier in my opinion. He also, in my opinion, just kind of suffers from that. He's not super hard to play around. Most Tech Mirio players, it's very easy to predict when to do the counter, when to do the beta. The only time you can't really attack this guy is when he's firing alphas, and even then, that depends on the person's accuracy with the character, on whether they can land out those shots and everything. So this character is just not putting out the damage necessary unless he's getting off that counter, which all you gotta do is just wait it out, and you can beat the crap out of this character. And then he doesn't have the best movement either, so he's not super hard to catch. So I feel like with that in mind, and with just how broken the other characters are in this game, I had to take him down a tier. As for Tamaki, I have Tamaki also in A tier as well. And this character, I was questioning whether or not I wanted to put him in A tier or S tier, because a argument for S tier is it's there. It really is. But it's just one of those things where like I'm comparing him to everyone else on the roster, and it's like, he feels super strong, but he doesn't feel broken necessarily. Sometimes it feels unfair to fight him, I'll admit, when, his alpha freaking melee beta combo. I can admit that. But besides that, besides his burst damage, it's like, don't know if I can put him anywhere else, to be honest with you. So I decided A tier solid for him. It's fine for him. If you feel like he's S tier, totally fair. I put him in A tier with the way that the meta feels, at least to me. Going on to Nejire. I have Nejire in B tier, I believe. Yes, I do. She's in B tier because I feel like that, especially with the characters that we now have in the season 14 meta, she has suffered. Let's be honest, she has definitely suffered. It would be nice to see this character get a small buff, maybe the HP or something like that. But I've been saying that for the longest time. It's just that she stays in the air for a long period of time. She's very floaty, so it's not hard to shoot her out the air. And then when you have characters like, Armored All Might, Nagant down here, and I can list several characters. It's not hard to take this character down. You definitely have to depend more on your skill and your movement with this character if you're trying to if you're trying to last. Hopping on over to Shinso, I have him in A tier, and I would have to say he definitely dropped down a tier after his nerfs and everything, and that's fine. This character still feels very, very strong. Well, I won't say very, very strong. He still feels strong. He's still a strong pick. Don't underestimate that. But his combo nerf, you feel it. You definitely feel it. And with that in mind, I have to go ahead and knock him down a tier. Now, let's get on over to the now dead symbol of peace, Assault All Might. This guy's C tier. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Very rarely you ever hear me do this. I was tempting on putting this guy in D tier. This guy is completely power crept. Viking, revive this guy, please. He's in the grave. Like, his entire kit just feels incredibly outdated with every character in this game, and it's one of those things where it's like you have to be you have to have a certain level of skill to make this character work. And it's like that is not good, especially when you look at his other counterparts, which we're about to get to right now. It's just they outscale him so badly. And there are so many characters who also outscale this guy so badly, like Viking. Buff this guy. A recommendation: HP buff might be nice, and making us, making his gameplay center around his beta would also be nice. Just some thought. Hopping on over to Rapid All Might. I got this guy in S tier. Need I say more? This guy has insane movement. He has insane damage, and he has damage reduction on his alpha, which also has insane speed and damage. This character is S tier. This character feels very strong, and I see him very often. S tier character. Armored All Might, S tier option. Every single move he does stuns, meaning that they can combo into one another. Not to mention, he has the highest burn damage in the game. I don't know why, since technically speaking, he's not a fire character, but he has the highest burn damage in the game. Then also add to it, insane mobility and high HP. I thought the game had this little formula where if you had little to no mobility, you would have higher HP. And if you have a decent or very good mobility, you have lower HP. They broke that rule with Armored All Might. This guy just has everything. Literally. The only thing he doesn't have is an instant revive. This guy's S tier. Moving on to Aizawa, S tier. I still think this character is very strong, even with the changes into the meta. He steals off your quirks. He still has insanely high damage, and he has insane movement. Need I say more? This character still feels very strong, and I still see him very often. Present Mike, in my opinion, is still S tier. And the reason why, like, you don't see him as often, and I really just think that's just because no one has him. I feel like very few people have Present Mike. But if you do have him, his burst damage is some of the best in the game. Like, better than Todoroki and freaking Tamaki, in my opinion. Like, he shreds. He just shreds, especially with that special action. So I have to go ahead and put him also in S tier. Now, I'll admit, his movement's not the best, but you can still make it work. Like, beta and the gamma, guard break. Beta and the alpha, you lose the most of your HP. This character is still absurd with his damage. Hop on over to Cementoss. Cementoss is B tier in my honest opinion. He can be good in depending on the situation, but it's not super hard to counter this character in my opinion. That's really just about it. If he builds up, just use the character mobility, knock him down. If he's on the ground, now he's exposed to all the super broken characters. It's just not the best time for Cementoss, but he can still do stuff in my opinion. Moving on over to Strike Endeavor. I have him in B tier, and I'll be honest, I was trying to debate if I want to put him in A tier or not, because he did get the HP buff that I've asked for. He still has some really good damage on his gamma and beta, and if you can land all the hits on the alpha, still solid damage. The reason why I couldn't put him any higher than B tier is just the way that the meta shifted, in my opinion. There are so many characters who can just take advantage of his big hitbox, and even with his additional 50 HP, can still just get the drop on him. Maybe if they somehow buff his special action, maybe then I'll be like, okay, we can put him in not S tier, put him in A tier. But for right now, it's just with the way the meta feels, and not to mention I don't see this character. I rarely see this character. I think B tier is solid. I think B tier is a solid place for him to be at. He can still work. He can still make things work. There we go. English, dang. He can still make things work with his kit, but there's just other characters with much better things in their kit to go ahead and to dominate the game. As for the assault counterpart, I still got this guy in S tier. This guy is still dominating lobbies. If you're not looking in the air to shoot this guy down, like with Nagant or something, this Assault Endeavor still dominates. He still dominates. His damage is insane. I can't tell if they want to make this guy a technical character or an assault character with how much area his moves cover. Like, I feel like they changed his typing just for the sake of the game, so we just wasn't spam with tech types, for the last 3 seasons. So personally speaking, S tier. He still does insane work. As for Rapid Hawks, I have him in B tier. Personally, I would love to see this character get some type of small buff, but despite that, this character can still put in work. He can still work, funny enough. His beta still does solid damage. Rapid fast alphas, hard knockdown, solid damage. You can use your gamma for movement. My only real critique, that special action, man. I hate the reload speed on his special action. But besides that, I think this character can still work, again, depending on the situation that he's in. As for his strike counterpart, I have this guy in A tier still because even though I don't see him often, I would say he's still in a similar position like Strike Kirishima, but not as good as Strike Kirishima. If you know his combos, you will destroy an individual. I promise you. If you know his combos, gamma into beta, or beta into gamma, freaking beta into alpha, etc. If you know how to combo his skills together, this character can still shred people. But despite that, he doesn't feel broken. I think that's just plain and simple. He doesn't feel broken. He just feels like a strong option. Hopping on over to Mount Lady. I have Mount Lady also in B tier because, funny enough, I've actually been seeing this character kind of often in my games, and I think that's really because she can still work, in my opinion. Now, it would be nice if she had some type of buff for her base form, but when she's in her giant form, goodness gracious, I hate fighting Mount Lady in her giant form. Y'all Mount Lady mains, when y'all in your giant form, y'all got it. I'm backing up. I'm running. I don't feel like playing Attack on Titan, personally speaking. So y'all got it. She's in B tier in my opinion. She can still run stuff. Not gonna lie. Hopping on down to the villains, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, we're making great time right now. Oh my gosh, last time this took 2 videos. This is not gonna take 2 videos. Thank goodness. Hopping over to Strike Shigaraki. I'm sorry to do this to you, my boy. You're going in B tier. Shigaraki is one of those characters where he's situational. If you have a bad start, odds are you're going down. If you can make it to like end game, odds are you can make an impact on end game, but even then, that's in speculation. Not to mention the fact that they nerfed this guy's HP because of Tech Shigaraki. So now he's back to 300. It's like he doesn't have that extra HP to help him survive and everything. So this character, he still can be strong depending on the situation, but it's just like he's stuck to the ground. Not much you can do. Now he's the ground king. That's great. I'm not taking that away from him, but that's just it. He's stuck to the ground. Love you, bro, but you're stuck in B tier. And say with your assault counterpart, he's also in B tier. Not gonna lie, he's a character that I know can dominate if you know his combos and you can land them. Like his combos do so much damage, but no hyper armor any of his skills, and also the same problem as Strike Shigaraki, 350 HP. Now, I think that one small buff can move this guy up a tier easily, but at least as of right now in this meta, B tier. There's just a lot of characters who can counter his playstyle. Now, Tech Shigaraki, the raid boss of My Hero Ultra Rumble. Bro, you're going in S tier. Where do I even start with this guy? Wall hacks, alphas that go through walls, AoE beta, his own passive regeneration to his gamma, and he still has a special action, so if he ever needs to get that more damage off, he just smacks you with the special action, and boom, you're not taking even more damage from this already insanely high freaking alpha damage and beta damage. In my opinion, if I was to sit up here and give this character a nerf, in quotations, I would just tone down his damage values a little bit. This character feels so strong where I'll be honest with you, as long as you max out your gamma, you'll be fine in my opinion. His damage values feel really, really high. So I would just maybe tone that down a little bit. That's really about it. But S tier character, especially if you got the raid boss build. Oh my gosh. Hopping over to All For One, I got this guy in S tier. May come off as surprising, I don't know, but and if you disagree, totally fair. But I have this guy in S tier because he has 400 HP, if I'm correct. Let me look just to be sure. Yeah, 400 HP. All his moves do a really good job at covering wide areas and controlling the battlefield. And then finally, his special action. If you steal a decent quirk set, and it doesn't matter the levels anymore, you steal a decent quirk set, you're dang near unbeatable. And then your versatility gets upgraded with that as well. If you steal Shigaraki, oh, regeneration. You steal Mirio, oh great, now you're a Mirio with 400 HP, so now you don't really have the weakness that Mirio has. Also, he doesn't deal with the same downgrade that Monoma deals with, where Monoma's only doing 80% of the damage of the original quirk skill. He gets full damage. He gets it all. Like, personally speaking, I feel like I can't put this guy anywhere else but S tier. When I see this character on the field, unless they play recklessly, this character dominates. He's an S tier pick in my opinion. That special action buff was so clutch for him. Hopping on over to Young All For One. I have this guy in A tier. In A tier. The reason why I got this guy in A tier, personally speaking, at least in my experiences, I don't really struggle with Young All For One. And maybe some people may disagree with that. That's totally fair. Is it weird for me to say that I would like to see this guy get just one small tweak? And this may sound crazy. Can we give him 50 more HP? And now, you probably hear that and you're like, Tez, why would you give this guy 50 HP? I just feel like he needs a little more defense. In my experience, he's not hard to fight. Now I'll admit one of his most annoying things is his Phantom Strike, being able to seal special actions. Depending on the character you're playing, that is mad annoying. But this character doesn't feel that impactful in my opinion, at least when I'm fighting him. I do see his strengths, and I do know that he can be a very strong character, but that depends on how the player uses him. None of his moves really go through walls. The meteor does, but like you have to be directly on the same floor as the meteor for it to still hit you. If you're like on a floor higher, oh great, you'll take 25 damage. And then his gamma, although has great great defense on it. If you're playing around buildings like you should be when he's in his gamma, none of these bullets will hit you. Not even his divine judgment. None of this will hit you. So personally speaking, so I guess that's another tweak I would ask for. There are two things I would ask for personally for young Alpha 1 to go and bump him up to S tier in my opinion. One, they could do the HP buff, give him 50 more HP. May sound crazy, but they could twice. Don't shake your head. No, it's just an idea. Or they can go ahead and allow one of his moves, not both, one of his moves to go through walls. They did that, I could bump this guy up to S tier. But at least in my experience and with the way the meta feels, I gotta put him in A tier. Hopping on over to Tech Dabi. Tech Dabi, I have to go ahead and put in B tier. And isn't it crazy, guys? Strike Endeavor and Tech Dabi were in C tier last time. Now they're in B tier. But no, Tech Dabi, I've been seeing him get a lot of showtime recently from players and everything. And I think that's fair. This character, although I still think needs a rework on, his gamma, his alpha and stuff like that, or at least like a buff to it and everything. This character, despite my opinions on him, can still work. He can still put in work with his traps, his gamma, and his alpha I don't really notice. It's more so his beta and his gamma I notice. With, being able to play defensively and inside of, buildings and stuff like that with his skills. Plus, his revive, still mad annoying. Can't deny that. So, I would have to go and put this guy in B tier. He can still put in work. We'll never deny that. Just depends on if the situation fits him or not. Now, moving over to his strike counterpart, my boy Strike Dabi. How you have fallen. I put this guy in B tier, and the reason why I put him in B tier is that he is not as dominant as he once was. And there are just simply better characters that you could really play than Strike Dabi. He can still put in work. Well, again, that's why I have him in B tier. He's not completely falling off or anything, but it's like, if people are there, if you're not in a 1v1 scenario, which you will very rarely be in that, people will see you doing your beta and you will get smacked out the air. Whether it's Tech Shigaraki beta, Nagant special action, whether it's alphas from any of the beaming characters here, just that character is he's a sitting duck in his beta, so it's like you gotta be really careful on it. You have to depend on your alpha more, I feel like, and your gamma with its explosion time and everything. You have to be more dependent on those skills versus your beta. And plus, even then, his beta is it is like, how would I say this? It's a shell of its former self in a sense, which that's good. His beta was ridiculous back when this guy released, but it's like with the way everybody's moving now in this game, B tier. It's situational on whether or not this character can just dominate dominate your matches or get dominated himself. As for Tech Toga, I have her in A tier because with the recent buff she got, the 50 HP and all the changes to her beta, this character has seen a resurgence. She's definitely back to life. Not to mention people abusing the freaking symbol of peace nerf. Well, not nerf, symbol of peace bug. Goodness gracious. So with that being said, I wouldn't have this character anywhere in like game breaking or broken, but she feels very strong again. I can't lie, she feels strong. Moving on over to Rapid Toga, I still have her in S tier. And the reason why is because, to be honest with you, I was playing with her recently, which is why I started the video being on her. I was trying to make a video on her, but I figured it was about time for me to knock out this tier list. This character still shreds people like tissue paper. If you land your combos, just, beta, alpha, gamma, this character still shreds. Her only real weakness is, I guess, maybe a lack of movement, but that's why you're supposed to use, the blood you get to help refresh your cooldowns and then still get away. This character is still S tier in my opinion, and at least in my experience, still very difficult to fight. Because if you get caught once, there goes your shield. Honestly, that's genuinely what it feels like. So I still have her in S tier. Moving on over to Twice, my boy Twice. I have this guy in B tier. And the reason why I have this guy in B tier, I know a lot of people say this guy has fallen off greatly, which technically speaking, he has. I still think this guy can work, and I'm supposed to finish a tuning build for him, but I don't have my resources right now, so I have to come back to this character next season. I still think this character can still put in work. He's just not going to be anywhere near as dominant as he once was. And I'm personally speaking, I don't think he'll ever get back to that point. But if you play around his clones, and you know your gamma melee combo or your gamma beta combo, you'll be fine. Not to mention, if you land your alphas, this guy's alphas still hurt. So he hit the twice. Why you disagree with me on how good you are in this game, buddy? You can still cook, I promise. He's just another character I would say is just simply situational. Compress, I put Compress in B tier, I believe. Yeah, I put him in B tier, and that's because like after his alpha nerf, I don't really see this character as often. And you can probably say it's because of his lack of damage, which I think that is totally fair. But I don't see him as often. And I know his beta is like very strong if you can reflect bullets from your opponents, but I rarely see players use the beta, or they don't use it effectively. They use it when like they have no more bullets, or they use it when they have no other option. They should be intertwining that beta in their gameplay so they can, get that extra damage that they're missing. But because I don't see a lot of compressed players do that, and his alpha is his main damage source, and that has been toned down compared to what it was once before, I gotta put him in B tier. It just depends on how the person uses him, on whether or not he can dominate a game or simply get dominated. Plain and simple. Moving on over to Kurogiri, I had this guy in A tier. I was thinking about whether or not I wanted to take this guy down a tier or not, because if you want to say he was not down a tier, I could see an excuse for it. But it's like he's offering too much to the team for me to really say, oh yeah, knock him down a tier. His alphas still do they still do decent damage. They're not the best, but they still do decent damage. His beta, not only is it his main way of transportation, but if you know his beta combo, you know how to use it. This guy can take away all your HP in 3 hits. It's kind of ridiculous. And then his gamma allows him to do this stuff from a safe area. If a person wanted to, they can literally find somewhere to hide off at, and then just use their gamma and attack from a distance. And if the person doesn't shoot that little ball of mist, you're just taking free damage, and you don't know where the damage is coming from. Then finally, this guy's special action literally works from anywhere on the map. It tells you in the description. Warps a down ally to your location, works no matter where they are. Need I say more? He's a get out of jail free card for his team. Guy is still A tier in my opinion. The lovely Lady Nagant. You're going in S tier. I can't stand this beautiful freaking woman, alright? Like, bro, where do I begin? Thank goodness this video is not taking as long as my last ones.
Sure.
Because people think, I don't know why, that if they nerf her special action, that she'll be a dead character. What type of drugs are you guys smoking? Let me, and I'm saying that in a joking manner, but like, no, literally, like, what type of drugs are you guys smoking? We do understand this character counters plus ultra, right? She is a plus ultra destroyer. We do understand that, right? Not only can she shut down plus ultra or any type of way of you getting back shields with her special action that, if you get a headshot, 350 plus damage, her alphas also do extra damage to HP. So now to counter this character, you have to use, you have to either one, be more careful with your plus ultra and be more careful with your HP around this character, or two, you have to use skills that regenerate HP like muscle form, revenge support, and there's probably other skills I'm not thinking of right now. Oh, hyper regeneration. If you're not using skills like this to, help counter her HP damage, you could have plus ultra and you could have all your extra special plus ultra builds and everything. This character is still going to down you like 2-3 bullets. Like, this character is very strong. So my only critique for this character, nerf her special action. It is too dang strong. I think personally, keep 200 damage on body, make it where a headshot is 250 damage. That's all I could ask. Still, with tuning, you could probably still find a way to break 300 damage, funny enough, even with that being 250 damage, even with the headshot being 250 damage, you could probably still find a way to break 300 damage with her headshot. So that would be my only critique for this character. Besides that, the rest of her kit feels fine. Well, let me take that back. Fix her beta. I think some people are exploiting her beta. Please fix the freaking air time on that. They shouldn't be in the air that long. She's literally feels like a rapid and a strike character fused in one with how long she can stay in the air just to go get a good shot on you thanks to her beta. So please fix that. You should be falling when using beta. I don't know why you don't. But besides that, this character is insanely good, and nerfing her special action and fixing that beta bug right now, this character will still be played a lot in my opinion. They gave her a strong kit. I think she'll be relevant in the game for a long time, unless they gut her character like Rapid Hawks or, you know, Assault All Might. Moving on to our final character on the list, Overhaul. I still have Overhaul in B tier. And the reason why, I know he got, you know, some more out. I know he has a new outfit that has T.U.N.G. stuff on it and everything. He still feels the same, in my opinion. It's situational on whether or not this character can dominate in a game. I will say this much: I have seen a lot more overhauls. I have seen overhaul being played more, and that is great. But personally, at least the right tuning build for me personally haven't came out yet, and I feel like people could probably agree with that. So with that in mind, it's like it's one of those things where it's like, at least for right now, still a B tier pick, but I could see him going up a tier in the future, definitely. Because this character is not bad by any means, but he's another character that is stuck to the ground. And right now, tuning is still kind of, it's kind of iffy. It's still mid for him right now. So I still have him in B tier. And that is the entire list. Wow, we actually got through it in like a quarter of the time that it took me to go ahead and knock out the first time. Not a quarter. Not a quarter. I'll say half. We knocked it out in half the time that it took me last time. Thank goodness. So I'll show the the tier list one more time for you guys to see. Looking at this tier list, thank you, Melanie. I'm glad you think it's wonderful. Anyways, looking at the tier list here, I feel very confident looking at this. But like, yeah, this is kind of how the meta feels when I play the game. Now, if you guys disagree, again, feel free to tell me in the comments. Tell me what you guys personally think. But at least from my experience and how these characters feel when I play them or fight against them, this is relatively how the season 14 meta feels. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe button, and those notification bells. Stay updated with everything on my channel. You guys have an amazing, Happy New Year's, and assuming you're watching this on New Year's Day, Happy New Year's. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Make sure I get this video up for you guys to watch. Again, tell me your opinions down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later.